Prisoners and Meditation by Justin Morgan. Who is in prison and why? Types of crime that land people in prison range from physical and sexual violence to theft, destruction of property, and drugs. The population of prison at any given time is about 1.7 million people. There's about 38% blacks, 31% Hispanics, and 34% whites. The United States has the highest incarceration rate in the entire world. However, do prisons really fix the problem? Recidivism is a relapse in the previous mode of behavior. 66% of inmates are rearrested within 3 years of being released. This shows that prisons are not actually fixing the problem, that many of the prisoners fall back in their criminal behavior upon being released back into society. So what's the cost to U.S. citizens for all these prisoners that the U.S. is incarcerating? Sentence length varies for the crime. The average length for murder, for example, is 21 years, and sexual offenses are 13. But all offenses together are about 5.5 years. The cost of keeping an inmate varies, but it typically costs about $30,000 to $40,000 a year. For the average sentence, 5.5 times 35,000 equals $192,500. This does not include the 66% chance of recidivism, which would cost taxpayers even more money upon being reincarcerated. However, it is not uncommon for a private prison to reduce the costs in order to profit. They can reduce staff, overcrowd facilities, and take more low-level offenders, increasing turnover rates, and cut costs for facilities, supplies, etc. This increases the likelihood of investors in the prisons. This is also likely to negatively affect prisoners, as their quality of life is decreased due to the overcrowding and the cut of cost for supplies. And the reduced staff means there could be more violence and less control, and there's more stress in the prisoners' lives. So what's the public view of prisons and prisoners? As you know, there are negative connotations that come with the words prison and prisoner. Prisons are often viewed as a dangerous place where assault, sexual offenses, and gangs are commonplace. Prisoners, on the other hand, are often perceived as volatile, untrustworthy, or immoral. Merely going to prison and becoming a prisoner changes your future job perspectives, your immediate relationships, and self-identity, lightening the chances of a relapse into criminal behavior. So what's prison culture like if you were to get convicted? These views of prison are not too far off from reality. In prison, you don't want to exhibit compassion, curiosity, or spirituality. Oftentimes, these can be perceived as a weakness, a threat, or it can make you stand out as an easy target. Other inmates will often test newbies and see how far they can push them, or they will try to find their weaknesses and exploit them, or ruin the things that the newbie enjoys. Prison culture is ruthless. So what hope is there? It's necessary to break prisoners out of their personal biases and ideology that led them to their criminal behavior in the first place. By further subjecting criminals to threats, violence, fear, stress, and depression, it will not reform their actions. It will likely strengthen their criminal behavior. Some prisoners need mental training in order to become pro-social, accepted members of society again. The fear of going back to prison is sometimes not enough to prevent people from committing crime again after they are released. I believe meditation is the answer. There are already programs in place that are prison-wide secularized meditation, such as the SMART program, which is stress management and rehabilitation training. SMART is meditation, and meditation is easy to incorporate into the routine prison schedule at little to no cost. All instructors have to do is teach prisoners breathing methods to control negative emotion and stress, and they teach prisoners how to notice unhealthy thought patterns so that they can practice on their own. After 6 to 8 days of training, they are encouraged to continue practice with weekly follow-ups. As you can see in the picture below, prisoners can often practice in their cells, meditating without meditating. It is common that secularized meditation has its name changed to something without a religious affiliation. This is because secularized practices have some empirical backing, and changing the name removes some of the spiritual baggage that comes with labels such as meditation, in which SMART will not be taken seriously. By changing the name, people will actually perceive SMART as a more therapeutic benefit, or maybe an actual exercise. While a little misleading, it is still a variation of meditation, but just with a different name. Some of the benefits of meditation will specifically help prisoners, such as the balances to emotion, the reduction in stress, and the calming of the mind. Meditation increases emotional regulation, increases attention, and increases tolerance to unpleasant situations like stress and pain. Meditation is readily available for use at any time and can be used when it is needed most at no cost. Guards and other inmates will likely notice positive changes in personality and behavior in meditators. The expansion of meditation's benefits. If meditation can positively impact one individual, imagine how it would impact the whole community of individuals. With everyone's emotions being regulated, there would be less violence, improved relationships, people would be happier and calmer. Inmates could recruit others to take meditation seriously so that meditation could expand and have more people influenced by it. Eventually, nearly everyone going in would come out reformed. There would be decreases in recidivism as the problem would truly be fixed and that prisoners would not have to go back to their old ways. There would be an improved public perspective of current and ex-convicts if convicts are always coming out as better people. So what are the controversy and limitations of meditation in prisons? Well, will the inmates who need meditation the most take meditation seriously? Meditation could often be perceived as a sign of weakness, and in prison many prisoners might be skeptical of trying these new practices which could land them in an unpleasant situation with other inmates. Meditation's affiliation with Western religions causes a debate about making it mandatory. Is it right to instill meditation into prisons even if people are Christian? With secularized meditation, we often think that would be alright. Breaking current prison culture and making compassion, tolerance, and spirituality accepted make it difficult to get the program started. However, there are a few steps we can take to get inmates to take meditation seriously. If we mandate meditation for everyone in the prison, then a person couldn't be targeted for meditating. If everyone has to do it, then how can you get in trouble by other inmates for doing something everyone's doing? Mandating meditation for troubled prisoners. This will attempt to reform the most resistant prisoners first, and likely the ones who need it the most, as they are probably the most aggressive. The only way I see to make inmates take meditation seriously is to introduce it mainly as an exercise or training, and set aside time for it in the prison routine. However, it is still likely that certain prisoners will resist meditating, but by getting a majority of prisoners on board, they can slowly be influenced by their peers, whether it's through meditation or through social interaction. It might be naive to start off immediately with compassion meditation, as most prisoners may not immediately agree with this, and a mindfulness meditation pilot training might warm inmates up to meditation in the first place. In conclusion, prisons do a poor job of rehabilitating prisoners. With a 66% recidivism rate, it shows that the problem isn't getting fixed. However, meditation can alleviate many problems inmates have with lack of compassion, emotional regulation, and stress at little to no cost to prisons. If inmates take meditation seriously, using some of the time they have to spend in jail, which is usually about 5 to 6 years, they can make serious advances, and it will benefit them personally both in prison and upon their release. Ultimately, rehabilitating prisoners will help improve public perceptions of prisons and prisoners, and decrease the cost of running these facilities. Thus, introducing meditation into prison would not just be beneficial for the prisoners themselves, but for the entire community.